Welcome to this week's episode of the Otafest podcast. Join us at Otafest's 25th anniversary keynote event, the Silver Stars Masquerade Ball. Dance the night away, share some delightful anecdotes of 25 years worth of shenanigans, and fill up a time capsule with our dearest wishes for the future to be opened at Otafest's 50th anniversary. We'll have prizes for the best dressed and most marvelous mask, among others. And now, back to the podcast crew, and thanks for listening.
Otafest Sketch Drive applications are open from January 16th to February 26th. Come be a part of this beloved little corner of the festival. Get your application in today. And get your AMV contest submissions in for prizes, for glory, for a rip-roaring good time. Larissa Crawford will be rejoining us as a guest speaker at Otafest 2023. Larissa's a published Indigenous anti-racism and climate justice researcher, policy advisor, and restorative circle keeper with over 14 years of experience. She is also a proud Métis and Jamaican descendant and mother of her daughter, Zaira. In recognition of her work, Larissa has received numerous awards and honors, including the York University One to Watch Alumni Award, and being named in Complex Canada's 20 creators who will shape the next 20 years of the culture. Don't miss the opportunity to hear from this inspiring leader and learn from her experiences.
And we're thrilled to announce that the Runaway Guys will be joining us at Otafest. These three gaming legends, Chuga Conroy, Nintendo Capri Sun, and Calgary's own Proton John, have been entertaining audiences for over 12 years with their Let's Play videos and live streams. Whether you're a fan of yelling at multiplayer games like Mario Party, creating chaos for charity at the Runaway Guys Coliseum, or trying your luck at their traveling game show throwing controllers, you're in for a treat. Local star vocal talent, Brendan Hunter, is joining us at Otafest once more. He can be heard as Dragon Ball's Tian Shinhan and Dragon Ball GT's Oob, as well as Dr. O on Cardfight Vanguard and many of the card's monster voices and shows like Future Card Putty Fight as Jin Mugatsu and LBX as the villainous Devon. Find more details on all of our announcements at otafest.com. That was a lot, but that's because we're in February.
We are gearing up, yo!
We're in February. That means we have a lot to do and a lot to announce. It's the 25th anniversary, and there's so much.
I'm so excited for this masquerade ball.
If you've been
Holy cow.
doing it,
If you've been
doing it for 25 years, you should be ready by now.
I can handle it.
Are you telling me that we knew we were going to plan this?
It's only been 25 years of planning.
Yeah, 25 years of planning to get here?
All the other events were just test events.
Oh. You mean you're
if
not
only
wrong.
it worked that way.
You're not
This
wrong.
is the show.
A quarter century of Otafest.
Holy cow. That's 25 years worth of like... Man, we've seen so many people grow up and become the people they are. And, oh my gosh.
Old people.
There are legitimately volunteers and staff members of Otafest who weren't born when Otafest was.
True.
Oh my.
We
Yes.
still and we do still have some like founding members of Otafest from the very, very beginning still with us on
Somehow,
the planning team.
They haven't yet crumbled to dust.
They can't crumble to dust. They're not allowed. There's still another Otafest.
Exactly.
And then after that Otafest, they're like, am I done yet?
No.
It's like, no, there's another Otafest.
No, there's a running joke that we put everybody back into like cryostasis every year. Whenever they're not doing anything that's strictly Otafest related, we put them back in cryostasis. It's like putting Angelo into cryo every time he has to wait on an email from someone.
Exactly. Exactly.
I put the cry back into cryostasis.
If the cryostasis ever stops working, we'll just recruit a necromancer to Otafest.
Why are you romancing my neck?
I have an
Why wouldn't
idea
I?
of where we can go for some of that. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I guess Valentine's Day is coming up. There can be some necromancy.
Oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. I need to make reservations at a place.
I know.
Dio and I,
At a place.
A place. Just
McDonald's
somewhere.
takes
We'll
reservations.
figure it it.
Yo, take
Dio and
Dio,
I
take
haven't
Dio
decided
to
yet.
take Dio to the 7-Eleven where you can drink at
Ooh.
Oh my god.
the 7-Eleven
I
restaurant.
mean, that is an experience that you should just go to try for the heck of it. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that, but maybe not for Valentine's Day.
I mean, I have dated people in the past who would enjoy that.
I would do it if it was the 7-Eleven in Japan.
Yes. We have mentioned
would be
this
fun.
before.
That would be fun.
It would be fun.
But our current plans are either Gyukaku followed by Fuafua or Vanson followed by somewhere else. I can't remember what the dessert place Dio had mentioned was.
No, there's Pablo.
Oh, it's probably Pablo
There's
because
Pablo
it's the
near it.
closest.
But Fuafua is
But,
great. I love them.
Fuafua is so good.
There's so much of it, though. Like, you can't have one for each of you. You just have to pick one and share it.
That's what me and Dio did the last time we were there. One of our friends from Edmonton came down to visit, and we went to the Cat Cafe in Kensington. And while we were looking at Google Maps, I was like, wait a minute. Fuafua? What's that? I look it up, and it's these giant, fluffy, gorgeous pancakes.
Jiggly.
And I'm just, okay, we have to go there. I've never heard of it until just now. We need to go there.
Correct response.
And it was fantastic. These pancakes are like a solid 3 inches thick.
Yep.
And I say a solid 3 inches thick. They are so light and fluffy and airy that they are not solid at all. It's like eating a cloud covered in whipped cream and matcha.
So,
good.
a couple of years ago, right when pandemic started, I figured out how to make them. And they are so effort intensive that I have no problems paying someone else to do it perfectly for me.
Nice.
They're such a nice treat. They're so fluffy, like you said. They're light. They come in a variety of different toppings, and they're always so perfectly done. I just couldn't imagine having to do that myself anymore. It's a lot of work.
It's really a lot of work. I
They
can
look
imagine.
good. I'm not much of a dessert person, which is why I haven't really I haven't made my way to Fuafua or even Pablo. I've had Pablo's tarts, but they just happen to be brought to my general vicinity. So I was like, that's the reason I've had a chance to enjoy them. But otherwise, I typically just go for like ice cream or something like that. It looks really good. I'm actually looking at their page right now because I know of them, but I just wanted to see what else they did. The matcha one
feel
sounds
like-
nice just because I love me some matcha.
Oh, the matcha one was fantastic. And I feel like the thing about Fuafua is it does taste really good. It does not feel as heavy as they might look, but they are an Instagrammable dessert. They are
Very.
exceptionally pretty.
Very much. And they have like little they have like fruity drinks and tea drinks that you can have. They don't
Yeah.
quite meet the bubble tea requirement of having like, those kinds of toppings in them, but they're really tasty. The one I
Yeah.
had, I think, was like this juicy, lovely strawberry tea lemonade something or other. It was super refreshing because it was in the height of summer and it was super hot outside.
Is this the point where we beg them for sponsorships
Yes, this
since we've
is where
already
we
given
go,
them this
please
good
sponsor us.
publicity?
For what it's worth, and I don't know if either of you have it, but we do have a Otafest sweater that was made, I think, 2 years ago, or it could be
Yes.
3 at this
The
point.
blue one. I
Where
have
it does
it.
have
sweater.
yes,
and-
and it has our animal mascots just gently pressed in between soft layers of Fuafua style pancake.
Yes.
So
Nice.
I recall. It was one of
Nice.
those ones that when it opened up and it was like, these are open for order now. Please, staff, please hold off. We would like to not have staff just maul these first and not have any available for the public. And we're like, just tell me when
it's funny.
tell me when I can hit the buy button.
Like, I don't know if it's just because another like another signal that we're a cult. The organization that not everyone else, like not the attendees that make it a cult. The staff make it a cult because this is something that happens on the regular. Because I'm on, like, for people who don't know, I'm also on the merchandising team, and so often we come up with like fun designs with all our merch, and we either order extra or we order our prescribed, budgetable amount. And the first thing that we got to put out there is like, staff, we know that you want it. Don't buy it till other people can have a chance to have it.
Yeah,
because we have enough people. We do have enough people in our staff that we can actually just buy out our own supply.
Yeah, if we wanted
and it's
to.
just like, yeah, and other people might be like, well, why don't you just make like more? It's like, yes, but that's not like we can't. We that would be overspending technically.
Yeah, that wouldn't be financially responsible to a nonprofit org.
It's
at the same
pretty
time,
funny.
My favorite Otafest merch so far has been the Otafest mug. I use it like every day.
So, there's that's the other funny part. There's a lot of merch that, well, I think it's kind of obvious. We have most of our merch is one time only. Like, we only have ever made one version of it. I think, honestly, the pins are the only thing that we've really bothered to reprint on a regular basis, on a semi-regular basis. But, like, things like mugs, toques, scarves, we get people seeing them who never got a chance to buy them. And they're always like, where'd you get that? Is that like real? Is that official? And it's like, yeah. And we just have it's not that we don't have any way to remake them, but they don't fit what we want to sell at the time.
If we wanted to say toques and mugs, or toques and scarves specifically, that's a cold weather item.
Exactly. That goes a long way. Like, we are focused on things that people want to use with some regular immediacy. I can't tell you what that means right now, but we have items this year that are going to be focused on that type of, seasonal usage, shall we say. So there's a lot of stuff like that we consider because we're in May. Let's make things for people in May and then maybe summer as well.
Yeah, like an umbrella.
Oh my God. I was just thinking that an Otafest umbrella would be really cute. But then what we need to do is we need to get that necromancer that we have to get one of his weather mage friends to force it to rain.
Uh-huh.
We have to control the weather. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, because we've had so much luck controlling the weather.
Well, yeah, but so the thing about the weather is that it's basically a tradition for us every year because we know that it's always in the same time of the year. It's always that same weekend of the year. And we know that historically that weekend is wild when it comes to weather. We know that. It's a fact.
So I want to say 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years ago. I think it was the year before we left the university. I distinctly remember at the university, it's the Sunday, and we're like starting to pack up and load the trucks. It was definitely snowing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like full on snowing. It was sort of like that wet snow,
flurries,
that sleety, sort of snow. But I was just like, oh, like if this came on Saturday, I would be like, we would be just so mad because all of our outdoor events would have been like ruined. Shelved and like cosplay chests and stuff and like tug of war and all the stuff that we used to hold outside would all have to be like, no, this is a safety issue. We can't do this. But
like
snow happens here.
Yeah, it does, and it's a very real risk of just that timing in that part of the year. But that would make for an exceptionally practical piece of merch.
As far as I can tell in Calgary, you are at a snow risk at literally every part of the year.
It snowed on my graduation in June.
Yeah.
The only month I can say that since I've been here that I have not seen snow is probably August and probably July, but July gets so much rain that it might as well just be.
My first time ever being to Alberta was in a July, and we went to the mountains and there was snow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's not...
That doesn't really count. I get it. But I'm just saying.
There have been many times where snow has blown over the mountains and just happens to turn into rain by the time it reaches Calgary in June and July. But yeah, I don't think I've seen a lot of July snow or August snow, because July is when Stampede is here, and Stampede is historically either lots of rain or drought.
Apparently I'm wrong and I just forgot, but in 2015, I just Googled this. In 2015, there was a flurry that hit in August.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, I didn't remember that. Was that the year where all of our trees just broke?
Probably, because trees plus trees with
leaves,
their leaves still on,
their foliage,
plus frozen sleet hitting them and sticking onto them is what makes branches fail.
Yeah,
essentially,
it's just too heavy.
I think we're getting a little bit too deep into the old man yells at cloud portion of the podcast. I think we need a hard segue to get out of this.
All right.
So Jay, I hear that you like anime music.
I have never heard of such a thing. How
Jay,
dare you accuse me?
I accuse, for you have previously historically stated, that you like music anime.
Yes.
I really do like music anime, but I don't like every music anime.
That's fair.
It's because
That's fair.
I guess the reason is that every anime pretty much has music in it. Doesn't make it a music anime.
True.
Anime that is music adjacent, where they're like it flows as part of the storyline, but it's not necessarily the focus. Still is still not music anime, and there's actually a large category of those. It doesn't make them bad animes either, or bad or have bad music or anything, but they're not bad. But they are not music anime to me.
I want to say that K-On! Is in that category, where it's music adjacent.
Well, they even acknowledge it in the actual show. They're like, we made this so we could have tea and desserts after school, but we can't just have that as a club, so I guess we'll play music too. That's actually like acknowledged pretty much.
I guess we'll do that.
So when I think of music anime, I think of things like Beck.
Yes.
Beck is the OG.
Yes.
Yeah, Beck is a fantastic music anime where the music is written about its own characters and lives, and it's intertwined in the story. Also, I just really like rock music, so it kind of super fits.
Count?
Macross, I think I've only seen a little bit of Macross. So I don't know how intertwined the music is.
Depends
the
on
story.
which one, but Plus definitely was about, music and being a performer and.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of music in that second group that I was mentioning, where there's like, I would say Euphonium is like that.
Oh yeah.
Where there's a lot of music in it, but it's not necessarily story focused or character focused music. It's just there is a musical
just kind of
focus.
There.
Yes. But you can't take away that it's cool. You have K-On! Sort of rests. I would say it straddles the line between both, because there's so much music that it's hard to ignore. Like you can't just like you build a relationship with the anime characters and they happen to perform pretty decent music. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like that really straddling the line.
It definitely straddles the line. But I would confidently say that K-On! Is not music anime. It is cute girls doing cute things, featuring
music.
That's a pretty good way of putting it. And then there's the last category is really just there's a lot of anime with great music. Now, it doesn't have to be that it has great music throughout. It does not have to be that it's music focused, but there's like a standout moment, like Suzumiya Haruhi and God Knows, that concert moment is basically legendary.
Yes.
It kind of comes out of nowhere, but like it hits. It really just hits. It's good.
Legendary to the point where multiple other anime have referenced that scene, and every time I see it, I just love it. The last time I saw it was like 2 years ago in some basic kind of time skip anime where a kid or an adult goes back in time to college, and then he's like, wait a minute, I'm in college now. And then he sees some other performers doing God knows at like the college talent, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm sitting here watching this anime. It's been like 15 years since Haruhi aired. And I'm just like,
there's
that's the thing. That's the thing.
There's a show. There's an anime called Remake Our Life. Or
That's it.
Remake Our Life. Yeah. Okay, if that's the one.
That's the one.
Where, so what Angelo is describing, just to give a little bit more context, is God Knows is being performed, but it's being performed by not like Suzumiya Haruhi or any of the other sort of characters from that show. It's literally somebody who's doing it as like sort of a talent show. Like they are, that's the reference. They're like, oh, because Suzumiya Haruhi's position was that was also like a culture day / talent show portion. And somebody's doing a cover of that song, almost of the scene almost. It's so wild. But yeah, you don't really, and then last of all, but not least, is just when regular anime has great music.
Yes. For me, that's
right?
FLCL.
Furikuri was fantastic. Cowboy Bebop also had a like just fantastic soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely. You have Tank as the opening. Amazing.
Yes.
Just like that hard start, that like fast-paced kind of, I want to say like jazz style. Heavy on the bass, super cool. I think I didn't watch much of Space Dandy, but I think Space Dandy had pretty good music too, right?
It absolutely did.
Escaflowne had an amazing
Viva Namida,
soundtrack.
the
Escaflowne is pretty tough.
Escaflowne. So good. Every time they battle and there's like those Gregorian monks chanting, it's just so hype. It's just, I didn't know I needed that in an anime, but I'm glad it exists.
So I got into like a binge of just like anime music recently. Now, we'll say that a lot of it is like heavily focused on the 90s and 2000s.
Fair.
Because that
you
is
are an old weeb.
Yeah, it is my time. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that while I don't have an interest in the show as much anymore, I will say that I remember those standout songs. Like there was Elfen Lied.
Oh,
Elfen Lied has some decent songs.
Mm.
You know?
Yes.
There's like Driver's High, L'Arc-en-Ciel.
L'Arc-en-Ciel.
Right?
Oh my god.
Man.
Driver's High from GTO. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of just things that really, I don't know, like it made the moment. Air TV has 2 songs for me that really hit. They're both like instrumentals. Well, actually, no. One's the opening, so it's not necessarily instrumental, but the instrumental sounds really good as well. I don't know. It's just like it blows my mind how much of I think I took a lot of from like Western music in terms of like being a fan of music. There's a lot of stuff that's Western, but there's a lot of stuff that's like from anime, from shows that otherwise I don't think I would have ever really listened to or learned about. That's like ingrained in me. Like when we're talking about Fulikuli and like you have the pillows, like
Yeah.
if I could bring the pillows to Otafest, I would lose my mind because I would love to.
Jeez.
Their music is just so.
It is my music.
Yeah, like
That is
it's
the
like
song of
ingrained
my
in my
people.
soul. It's ingrained in my soul. Like listening to
Ride
on Shooting
Star.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the one.
Yeah.
But like all of the songs,
the entire OST for FLCL is just banger after banger.
Damn, yeah.
And all of them done by the Pillows, if I remember correctly.
pretty much. And I think for FLCL Alternative, the newest seasons, which was like about 2 years ago, I think now,
Yes.
they were also brought back for those songs.
I believe they were. I watched a couple episodes, but it kind of lost me, unfortunately.
That's fair.
It's okay.
Like that's what I was saying about earlier too. It's like the music persists after the show. Like I don't think I'll ever watch Elfen Lied again, for example.
Oh my
but
God,
I'll
there's-
listen to Lilium every now and then.
There
I'll
are
listen to-
2 anime that are entirely forgettable, but the songs were amazing. The first anime, Batum. It was an early entry into like the death game genre.
Oh. Interesting.
But again, the anime itself, entirely forgettable. It's not that it was a bad anime. It was just that like that valley of mediocrity where you don't ever need to rewatch it.
The Valley of Mediocrity.
The opening, No Pain No Gain by Nana, I think. No, Nano.
Well, Nana's another
best.
great music anime.
Nana was
One of
fantastic.
the
I still
best
know all of those songs by heart. It's crazy.
songs ever.
Yeah.
So good.
No Pain No Gain by Nano, I believe. So freaking good.
Another one, probably one of my favorite openings is Duvet.
Yes,
For
Duvet from Serial Experiments Lane.
I haven't seen that in so long. Oh my god.
I would actually probably rewatch that show, to be honest, because I love that genre of show. I love sort of that cyber dystopian, but not like dystopian's probably not the right word. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a post-futuristic. No.
Definitely not
Post-futurism.
dystopian, but just it's a psychological thriller, is what it is.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the songs in that show don't stand out more than the opening, but that's fine. And then you have other media. Being a nerd, you have music. You have like music and video games. And video games is kind of a weird one because most music isn't integrated into it tends to be atmospheric in a sense, right? Like you have
True.
battle songs.
Sure.
You have area themes. So you're outdoors exploring or you're in a certain town.
Yeah.
But like there's not that many songs that have like that standout moment. I think probably early on you have things like Eyes on Me in Final Fantasy VIII,
Hello,
right?
yes.
Where I'll be honest, I've listened to it too much and I'm actually sick of that song. Like I can't listen to it. I can't enjoy it. I'll probably enjoy it again in like 10 years, but I've listened to it way too much.
I think probably my oldest video game song that still has relevance to me now was the Mega Man 2 opening.
Ooh.
Oh, Wily's Castle is an amazing song as well in Mega Man 2.
The thing about the Mega Man 2 opening is it's a fantastic song. Around the year 2005, I want to say,
2005.
there was a fantastic lyrical remix of it called Okusenman. And that is just one of the best songs ever. It is so good. It uses literally the Mega Man 2 music as it is, adding an entirely new song on top of it, because the NES had no lyrics. It had the beat boops, you know?
Pretty good.
It had the beat boops.
If I do say so
But then
myself.
Okusenman had an entire like song about like growing up and where your life goes as like an old crusty salaryman. And it's just such an amazing song. I absolutely love it and I listen to it often. It is on my regular playlist.
So when I was a very, very wee small child, I had a family with 3 boys as my direct neighbor, and they always lent me video games to play because they were done with them.
Nice.
So they lent me their TurboGrafx. The
Oh my God.
TurboGrafx, the cartridges, for a reminder, for these games were like little credit cards with the little SIM chip in it, and that's how like the games were stored. That's how small they were back then. I don't think you can store a whole
I
lot
didn't
on
realize that.
I've never played on a TurboGrafx. I had an Atari, but the games were
I've
larger.
seen pictures of the TurboGrafx. I didn't realize that's what the cartridges were
Yeah,
like.
the cartridges
Yeah, I
are
need
like
to-
little
I'm
credit
actually gonna
cards.
look that up.
They were like the cards that you used to stick into like the TELUS payphones when they moved away from coins.
Oh wow, I'm looking them up now. That's insane. How much memory do you think is in one of them?
Less than a megabyte.
Kilobytes.
Like
I would
we're
be
ta-
you probably like 120 kilobytes.
It's got to be
that's
less than a
probably
meg.
right. Sorry, Nancy.
Anyway.
We're just mind blown by the form factor.
So no, I
obviously.
actually super loved it because like as a kid, I think I just had like this thing where I just really enjoyed cards, which is probably where
I'll post a picture.
card games and like playing cards played a really big role in my childhood, and then having a credit card sized card with video games on it was just like this super cool thing to me. But
It is very cool.
anyway, so there was a game I played, and I can't remember what it's called, but the actual level music is permanently ingrained in my brain. I will never get rid of it. I'm probably gonna.
Do you ever like look it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna
to
try
find
and look it up, but like these are things that were the formative parts of my childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I mean that's what like the Super Mario theme is to me. Not like specifically the Super Mario World theme. That's like tattooed into my heart. There's
That's what
Pokemon
Zubat's
songs.
screech in Mount Moon is to me. Not in a positive way.
Yeah. Lavender Town. The battle
oh my
themes
God,
for Pokemon.
Lavender Town.
The battle themes when you're like facing off Lance, like do 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 do, like that pacing, that like that is again tattooed into my soul. Recent's probably not the best word, but you know, recent.
Recent-ish?
Undertale.
Yes,
Undertale has songs.
Oh my gosh! So
hits.
I never played. So like those of you who know, Undertale offers you a couple of different routes you can play through. One of those routes has a very outstanding, like it's the hard swing the other way, and I never played that route, so I never got to hear what happens to the music throughout the game as you replay it again.
How it like accelerates.
No, it like slows down, it gets creepy, and it
decelerates.
warps. But because you take that route, there are certain, boss fights that you just never get to play.
Yes.
And my first time hearing that boss fight, like actually like playing through it.
You're talking about Megalovania,
Oh, yeah.
right? You're talking about the Sans boss fight.
Megalovania. So I had always heard the song, but never played it. So it never formed that like attachment in my brain. A couple weeks ago, we helped a friend play through it, through doing that route. And oh my God, that song is permanently ingrained in my brain forever.
Yep. It is one of the few songs where 4 notes, you know exactly what's coming in.
It's true.
You get 4 notes into the song and you're just done.
Oh, it's true.
Megalovania is an amazing like piece of work where you know like it does that thing where it just like attaches the moment with your existence. You know,
Except the one thing about Megalovania is that everyone always says that it's Sans' boss fight music. If I remember correctly,
Technically, it's
that's not right.
it's Asgore's.
It is your boss fight music. Sans is the protagonist, and you are the boss.
I guess that's true.
I believe, I can't remember, but there's some text, some flavor text, or some boss text files in the game files that suggest that Megalovania is your boss fight music against Sans.
That just blows my mind. Holy cow.
I can take that.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
I could absolutely see that. Toby Fox seems like he would do that.
My favorite song from Undertale isn't even Megalovania. It's a smaller theme. It's actually, I guess it's technically Asgore's theme.
Oh.
It's called like His, I think it is.
Oh. I think my favorite, my favorite chill
There's
song
so
is
many
probably
good
like
ones,
the
though.
Snowden theme.
Yeah.
I also like
I also like the Temmie Shop theme.
the ghost songs.
Oh!
You know, do do do. Like there's the little what's his name? Oopstablook or something like that?
Hoopsta.
Napstablook.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. They have
Because he
they have
looks
little
like the-
songs. Napster.
I wanted to say he looked like the Napster logo, but no, he
No,
doesn't.
he doesn't.
No.
But
No, he doesn't.
the Temmie Shop.
God, yes.
And it's like just a little bit demented, and you love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am currently on the fandom Wikipedia for Undertale. Just I want to look up the Megalovania bit. There's a bit of trivia here where it says Megalovania played during a general audience for Pope Francis in early 2022.
What?
Yes, it did.
circus
It did.
performers
I remember
performed
that.
the song to the Pope.
Okay.
This event gathered media attention.
Oh my gosh. I did find the name of the game that I
That's
was
so
thinking
funny.
of. It's Parasol Stars. And
Oh,
if anyone's
I've never
ever
heard of
played it, you will now hear that theme through your head for the rest of the week, and I do not apologize for it.
I hope they do. I
It's a
hope they
lovely
enjoy it.
theme.
But yeah, I love how music ties things in together.
It definitely forms a very unique type of memory.
Yeah, and it's the most interesting thing to me is that there are like things that are like universally recognized. You have iconic songs in games and shows. You have like, Ocarina of Time is a very musically not focused, but like integrated
It's a mechanic.
game that has it's a mechanic that really sort of ties things together for you. You have things like opening and ending songs that like you hear them sort of on repeat in a sense, right? Before and after every show, and it starts like beating its rhythm into your mind. But the thing I think that is really interesting is that there's also just songs that we don't all recognize in a sense, like, oh, that was a good song, but I don't think that was a song that mattered in a sense, like of like it wasn't story based, it wasn't meant to like hit all the notes for that series or whatever, but some people still just like it resonates for them, and that's what makes like a show special. Yeah, sure. But I don't know. I'm always happy to talk about like music shows, music in games. I used to play a lot of instruments. No, I say a lot of instruments. I used to play a couple of instruments, and that always sort of drives like that creativity. Where I'm not a musician, but I would like to. I always wish I had that ability or talent.
Never too late.
To recreate it.
Never too late.
It's always too late.
No, you can always pick something up. You just got to make the time for it.
I want to make the argument that 11 p.m. is too late.
For you, because
No,
you play
it's not.
drums.
Yeah, no, not for you. Not for you. For your neighbor.
Exactly.
There's a difference.
Exactly.
Angelo would
Especially when you
happily
have
bang away at
drums.
1 a.m.
Indeed.
Yeah. You would happily bang away at 1 a.m. if it wasn't for those darn neighbors.
Those dang kids
Yep.
and their need for sleep.
Yep. Part of me wishes I had an electric drum kit just because I would
have the
make
pads.
basically zero noise,
Almost.
and then I could go at it like whenever
Could
I
you?
wanted to.
Could you buy like a rock band kit and modify it?
Well, you've got those.
Nah.
You've got drum covers.
The rock band
don't you?
kits, I do. So like the rock band kit, I actually hate the drums on rock band. I really do.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
because I feel like they're too close together.
Mm-hmm.
The bass pedal feels like garbage. And I personally hate electric drum kits too. Even though I said, man, I wish I had one. They feel bad.
Yeah.
They really do feel bad as opposed to like an acoustic drum kit.
Well.
And so I have my old 1991 Tama Rock Stars. And I've got these muting pads on all of them, including the bass drum, to the point where most of the time I should be able to play it without bothering too many people, but I still worry about it. I still do.
I mean, that's fair.
But I want to practice it more. I want to get my rhythm going. I want to be able to just rock out on the drums because it's so much fun. It's so good.
I've never had the ability to like I can keep rhythm, but not in the way that
A drummer
drumming
needs
requires.
to.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
You know,
Like I can keep basic rhythm. The truth comes out.
I have drums. That doesn't mean I'm a good drummer.
this kind of reminds
That's
me.
fair.
I just had a really weird thought. It's like, yeah, I can totally understand this feeling because, like any kid, we had random, pianos that were around at school, and yes, I have played
Random pianos. I'm imagining
a
like
piano, like a real piano. I mean, like an actual analog piano. So, I have
Sure.
played on them. I know what it feels like. I know what it's like to play on the pedals and to change the way it sounds. Moving to an electronic keyboard is totally different in feel.
It feels different. Like, it feels fake.
Totally.
And
Absolutely.
well, there's no like
it's rude to say that. Because
yeah, but you don't get that. You don't get
It's
that
not
like
the same kind of analog
tactile feedback.
you are
Yes.
not pressing a key that moves a hammer that strikes a string.
Exactly. But
You are basically pressing a lever that actuates a Cherry MX bread. Who knows?
you're turning a switch connection on. But like
Like, the reality is, you can run a program and turn your keyboard in front of you on your computer into just as good of a keyboard.
yeah, all the keys are just in the wrong place.
Exactly.
But like I think about this and it's like, when I'm teaching, I'm basically giving you the analogy that your voice box, your vocal cords are your instrument. Take care of it the way that you would with like a violin or piano. There's no digital like metaphor for that. I can't be like, yeah, and like your voice doesn't feel the same as when you play with an electronic box. Like, I have no.
Just turn on Vocaloid. Become
I was
Miku.
thinking that.
There
Yeah,
you go.
become Miku.
There you go.
When Nancy said there's random pianos
Reject
all over her
vocal
school.
cord.
There were.
Embrace Miku.
I wasn't allowed.
No, but what I'm imagining is not that there would be like a piano in every other room or something like that. I was imagining like there'd be like some keyboard like replacing a light fixture. There was one of the if you opened one of the lockers, bam, piano.
My locker's actually just an emptied out piano. We scraped all of the
Exactly.
cords out of it.
Oh,
You'd
no.
have a lot of space there. You'd have the most.
I'm now
Man,
imagining
if
what it
I-
would be like to randomly assemble a school out of pianos.
That'd be kind of a cool aesthetic.
That would be a
Honestly,
fantastic
I could see that in a
know
video
one
game.
song
You know?
on the piano, I would want to know the Bowser's Castle theme song from the original Mario Bros. Just so I could walk up to any piano and instantly change the mood of the room to like high tension.
Damn. The second you said that, I started thinking the theme. So good work.
Yes, it would feel very sinister. You could be anywhere, but then Bowser's Castle theme starts playing, and the mood is just like, what's going on? What's going to happen? Where's the giant turtle man?
When you were I do have a keyboard. It's actually like 3 feet away from me. And
I have a
don't play it at
keyboard
all.
too. It's just 65%.
But no, I have like a standard like Yamaha keyboard, and I haven't played it in a long time. But I'm not naturally attuned to music, in the sense that like I think I've mentioned this before, but I have relative oh gosh, I can't remember relative
deaf?
pitch. Relative
pitch.
pitch. So I can figure things out, but I don't retain it because I'm not like, I don't play it enough. I don't practice enough, but I can always figure out like tunes. If you give me like 15 minutes, I can play maybe the first like 10 notes of any given song sort of thing. And I think a lot of people can do that, but I wish I knew what having perfect pitch was like, because the way that you can sort of understand, like every 8 notes is is an octave, and then being able to apply that to essentially an instrument where you just have to know the position of a note, as opposed to knowing how to create the note. Like if you're playing a guitar or you're playing a wind instrument, where you have to sort of configure something in order to make the note. I think it'd be very interesting to see what that would be like. I think I'd be much more driven to create music if I understood that better.
Side note, randomly, the sound of an orchestra doing that warm up together always gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
Kind of-
fair.
Yeah, I get that. I've been to a lot of live orchestral performances, and there's like this whole sound. Can't really describe it, but when they're all just doing like that crescendo almost of just like the pre
Does it give you the same
whatever?
tingles as the THX sound?
No, it does not. That
No?
one's
The TXX does not give you tingles. It just goes "Wah!"
Nah, it used to give me tingles all the time.
the orchestra warm-up.
It was like,
sound
oh, I
will
love this
forever
sound.
give me
Yes.
tingles and goosebumps. Random piece of trivia: the reason the bassoon is always the instrument that leads the warm-up is because the bassoon is the least likely to be off tune.
Really?
Why is that?
Just the way the instrument works.
I had no idea.
I wonder
That's
if it was
interesting.
engineered to be that way, or if it just came about, like as a side effect of its engineering.
Don't know.
Or for
Probably
its
as a
tune.
side effect.
I feel like this is a Wikipedia deep dive we can do later, though.
Always. I'm actually that's really interesting to me.
That is why you hear the bassoon first, always.
Bassoon.
The bassoon leads the warm-up.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Speaking of warming up,
Bassoons
though.
look so weird.
Are we getting back to Old Man Yells at
Old
Cloud?
man yells at cloud. No.
This week has been so warm.
I was going to ask.
It started off so cold.
It was great. No, it was a fantastic week, except for all the flooding in the back alley that I have to go deal with. But speaking of warming up, burning plastic, I hear, was an item of choice this past week.
So I arrived at Dio's house yesterday, and she comes to unlock the door for me, and she's like, "Wait a minute, what smells like burning?"
Uh-oh.
Probably burning.
So at first I didn't smell it, and I got into her kitchen living room area, and I smelt it pretty strong.
Did you dealt it?
No, I didn't dealt it. I smelt it, but for once I didn't dealt it.
Oh my god, are you saying that idiom is not true?
100%.
For once, at
One
this
of the
point
few
in
things
time,
I know.
what happened was a piece of plastic had somehow fallen through the different grates in her dishwasher
What?
and landed on the heating element.
What?
The heating element burned right through this piece of plastic that was, to give a sense of scale, it was about the size of like a small plate.
That's not a small piece of plastic.
It is not
No.
a small piece of plastic. We have no idea how it even managed to get down there. But it was so strong that we had to leave the apartment building for like an hour and a half. It was bad.
Air everything out.
Yes, we opened up all the windows. We turned on the fans. We had to fan the smoke detector so it would stop going off.
Oh, boy.
Legitimately, it was lucky that it was in a box filled with water. Otherwise, it would have burnt her house down.
Why was the heating element on?
It just did it.
But the dishwasher wasn't on, right?
It was on. It started burning after she turned it on to do her dishes.
God, that's so
I
bizarre.
honestly didn't know there was a heating
There
element
is.
in a
Dishwashers
dishwasher.
actually-
I just thought it was.
Nice
Yeah.
dishwashers have
Yeah.
it.
I thought it was just always
The hot water tap.
just hot water.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
No.
And that's why you run your hot water from your kitchen tap before you turn on your dishwasher.
If you don't have a heating element.
Well, no, even if you do, because that way it always gets the hot water. Instead of the first load being like whatever cold water was in the lines.
I guess that just depends
I've
on which
never
line
learned
is hooked
this.
up to your
Sounds
dishwasher.
interesting.
Yeah.
If it even.
In North America, it's usually the hot water line. In other parts of the world, it's oftentimes the cold water line, and then it just uses the heating element regardless.
That's fair. I don't know anything about
Yes.
dishwashers other than it washes my dishes.
But pro tip, burning plastic is not good.
No.
It's not fun.
No, it's.
Listen to anime or game music.
Yeah.
That's a lot more
Way
fun.
more fun.
Be an old man yelling at a cloud. That's more fun than burning plastic.
Listen to
Oh
next
my
week's
God.
episode of the Otafest podcast. That's also more fun.
100% better than burning plastic.
Burning Plastic, the podcast coming to ears near you
And noses.
Oh no.
and noses.
A nose cast.